movies and games have a sordid past. It started as ill attempts to capture the cinematic flair of a rousing Spielberg flick in a globule of pixels. Now games have cameras of their own, but things aren't much better, as games are rushed out to meet film premiere dates and cash in on the hype at the price of quality. While bad movies often make bad games, it's when a great movie spawns an abysmal interactive atrocity that things hit rock bottom. Though these days, it's the rule, not the exception. GT Countdown is here to guide you through the worst of the worst in digital celluloid.
Number 10.
Here's a troubled beat-em-up that's almost as dysfunctional as the fictional cartoon stars it's named for. You take control of LaShawn or Khalil and tear through Fun World, breaking all the rules, throwing baseballs at guys in rat suits, and busting the man's chops with pint-sized uppercuts. Bebe's Kids also breaks all the rules of game design by being insultingly simple and punishingly difficult. And what's with the air humping? Take our advice. Don't mess with Bebe's Kids.
Number 9. Catwoman.
Okay, so it does feature one of the best idle animations ever to grace a game, showing every enticing inch of the virtual Catwoman, looking very much like a Halle Berry poster.
Closer, baby.
The game may look nice, but once the schizophrenic camera kicks your S&M leather butt, with some help from the confusing control scheme, you'll be crawling on all fours, both figuratively and literally, looking for bling fragments, whipping levers, and pummeling short bus bad guys into open furniture. Whatever that means. This game will make you want to drown kittens.
Number 8. Back to the Future.
While fans of Marty McFly thought they'd be cruising around the parking lot of the Twin Pines Mall at 88 miles an hour on their NES, what they got were broken versions of Skate or Die and Tapper. With no music or characters from the film, other than this rough approximation of Marty, this travesty is an insult to aspiring time travelers. Without the enticing title screen, this would be just another lousy game, and we would be a lot better off.
Number 7. Street Fighter, the movie.
Featuring digitized graphics and a tweaked fighting engine, Street Fighter, the movie, the game, sought to jump on the Mortal Kombat bandwagon with a grittier, realistic look. But ultimately, the game is more of a mortal sin than anything else. Developed by incredible technologies, the arcade game bears little resemblance to its noble roots, with cheesy animations and stunningly bad voiceover jobs. Capcom eventually released a console version, but the damage was already done. This is one Street Fighter better off left in the gutter.
Guile, win!
Number 6. The Fifth Element.
Luc Besson's sci-fi epic is a perfect choice for an action game, but the end result is as loose and sloppy as Gary Oldman's accent. The sound effects cut out frequently, the grainy graphics make SOCOM look like Graw, and with frustrating and unpredictable character movement, even easy mode is consistently life-threatening. Worst of all, it seems as if the developers haven't even watched the movie, as they rearrange cutscenes from the film to tell their own warped and confusing story.
Number 5. Total Recall.
The graphics may be halfway decent for its time, but don't let the looks fool you. Total Recall for the NES is anything but playable. If the annoying repetitive music doesn't get you, then the random pink jumpsuit midgets will, dragging you into the alley for a private smackdown. And if those guys don't do you in, then a random hail of bullets from a drive-by will immediately thereafter. And if that doesn't do the job, then the random miscreants punching you through holes in a fence will definitely seal the deal. Lose a life, and you're treated to an 8-bit visage of Arnold himself, ensuring all of the lowlifes on Mars that he'll, well, you know.
Number 4. Bad Boys, Miami Takedown.
The two talentless stand-ins for Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys Miami Takedown aren't just as bad as they want to be, they're worse. These two TNT agents suffer from broken controls, crappy aiming, and explosive diarrhea of the mouth.
Told you not to fuck around!
Filthing up an already terrible game with some of the worst game dialogue ever recorded.
You ain't gonna throw up, are you?
Not yet.
The word bad doesn't really do the game justice. It's freaking awful. Within the first few minutes of play, the relentless stream of generic bad guys and cringe-worthy one-liners take Miami Takedown from downright rotten to absolutely putrid. This game may redefine bad, but it's the player who's punished.
Number 3. Fight Club.
The movie Fight Club grapples with heavy philosophical and psychological issues, while simultaneously depicting gritty cinematic violence and hitting viewers with one hell of a plot twist. Fight Club the game grapples with basic collision detection and control issues, while telling a lame add-on story through blurry screenshots and hitting players with the horrifying sight of video game breast physics. On a guy named Bob. Playing the Fight Club game is about as masochistic as pouring lye all over your arm. Unless you really have a thing for pain, we don't recommend either.
I'm fucking done. Now buy me a goddamn beer.
Number 2. E.T.
E.T. on the Atari 2600 is the catastrophe that predicted the fate of movie games to come. And in some ways, the great crash of the video game industry in the 80s. You have to collect parts for a phone and call the mothership, but you're lucky to even figure that out. The function of the fire button changes constantly, usually teleporting you somewhere else. Scientists kidnap you, FBI agents steal your items, and worst of all, there are pits everywhere, even at the edge of a new screen. Once you fall in, E.T. has to extend his neck to float out, creating one of the most frustrating video game moments in history.
Number 1. Charlie's Angels.
Break it down, Boz.
This game is such an abomination that Sony wouldn't let it be released for the PS2. The same PS2 that has more awful games than we care to count. The game is degrading, not to women, not even to video games, but to humanity itself. That this vomit-inducing swirl of pixels can be considered entertainment, with its inane camera, controls, and ladders that take minutes to climb, is an affront to decency. The annals of movie-to-video game conversions is ugly, and Charlie's Angels sure smells like one.
Huh.